Well, I think security guys always want they're after a perfect world where everything's secure, 100%. And I think development guys are coming at it in a more practical standpoint. I mean, they've been tasked to get code out of the door so that their company remains in business and can sell products. So I think there will always be a gap between security. I think security guys maybe try a little bit too hard to make sure developers are secure and perhaps don't realise the pressures and business reasons why they have to do what they do.
I think there isn't such a huge gap. So the gap, we all try to write good code. So as developers, we really try to write something that's secure, that satisfies the business requirements. I think the problem begins when you have one group of security guys and then a big gap. We throw it over the wall, and then us programmers, and we sort of keep fighting. It's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to write software that actually works for our customers, employers, whoever it is. So it may be worth actually working together. With these security people, accepting their code reviews, that would be really, really very useful. But only very few companies actually get their developers to do code reviews and to actually take them with genuine criticism of their comments and not throw their toys out of the pram and go, well, I'm an experienced developer, you don't tell me what to do. So enough, let's not be experienced developers, let's learn something new.
I'm troubled by a security person. I'm going to pick fights all evening, that's my basic plan. So I don't necessarily believe any of this, but I think a better debate is when we have a bit of debate. So I hope that's okay with the audience. But I think trouble with the idea that security professionals don't want the company to succeed. That seems like that's like, the devs are there to make the best code possible, and they want to make it good, but security people want to make it perfect and therefore stand in the way. So I'm not sure I buy that, but we'll come back to that, I guess. For me, I think there absolutely is a gap. There's a series of reasons for that gap. I think there's a cultural gap. So most of the people I know in senior positions in security organizations don't come from a development background. Most of them come from a risk or audit background or a operating systems or networks background, mid-range. Those kind of backgrounds are the kind of people who most of the people in security have come from. So they're more comfortable talking about network protections, about operating system upgrades, than they are talking with developers. There is a gap between them there. I think also as an industry, we're seduced by the idea of easy solutions. And putting in a WAF, buying a box with blinking lights and sticking it in seems easier than going back, opening up the code, changing it, redeploying it into the production environment. So there's
a WAF? Did you?
A web application firewall.
Thank you.
So instead of fixing the code, you put an extra layer in of a network device that does things to the traffic to filter it out.
But you only think that until you try it.
Oh yeah, I'm not suggesting, I did very much say solutions, these things, but we are seduced rather than it's the right answer. But as an industry, people who don't have a dev background prefer, they tend to sit next to the networking team. So getting the networking team to roll something out is a lot easier than going to another floor or to Bangalore and talking to the dev team who are actually producing the code. And I also think as a market, we're quite led by products. A lot of the debate and discussion about what the best fixes are is driven by people who have a particular fix to sell. Until recently, there weren't many vendors in solving the software security problem, and in fact, there was almost a bias that if we had lots of problems in security, in software, that meant we could sell a lot more boxes fixing other stuff. So there's almost a driver to not fix the root cause, perhaps, in the industry. And most dev work in organizations is bespoke to that organization. So although if you exploit flaws in it, you can gain great value out of that organization, historically, attacks have been against common code in operating systems and network devices because they're widely deployed. So the return on having a successful attack, I think we're at a bit of an inflection point where I think security people are going to have to get a lot closer to development teams, because as we get better at securing the base layers, attackers don't give up. They just move up the stack into more bespoke thing to get more value out from those. So I think there is a gap, but I think we have to close that gap.
So I think I pretty much agree with everyone who's spoken thus far, so apologies, Stephen, I can't object. I think Tim's right, it's a question of incentives. Developers are incentivized to get code out the door, and security people are incentivized to find things that are wrong, or to manage the risk is the more polite phrase.
I think it is about enablement. If we can't enable people to understand the issues, find the issues, deal with the issues, then there will be a gap there. And yeah, security people tend to be focused on their piece. But if you can fix those issues, if you can make the two communities work together, then there's absolutely a synergy there. So I don't think it's any of these are issues that can't be addressed. It's just a case of bringing that culture to your organisation to change them.
My name is Michael, and I guess the one thing I've not heard, which is interesting, is that there is usually a bit of an opposing force thing going on, if you will, when security comes into play. For instance, in my experience, what you have three things. You can have software that's cheap, you can have software that's very usable, or you can have software that's secure. So if you've got these three things, you can only ever pick two. So given that, I would argue that the constraint is more of a cultural one that actually sits at a level above the security professional and the developer. How do you guys feel about that?
So I think that's fascinating that you put usable and secure at different ends of a spectrum. That the idea that security isn't, I mean, it's quite fascinating. Most software barely achieves its functional spec, let alone its non-functional spec. And to put security as not even part of those usability features, that's quite fascinating insight into your view, which I'm not sure I share. I think usable software has to be secure or it's not usable.
So, as I said, you can only pick two of the three. So you can have usable and secure software, but it'll cost.
But I think insecure software is unusable, would be my premise. There's not, the two are the same.
So
you just
software
define your
without
functional spec wrong if you think it's usable but it isn't secure.